All right. All right, we should be live. Doesn't seem to be a working link. Are we live? Let me check. That link doesn't seem to be very good. Seeing a couple people in the chat. Jordan Nielsen, welcome, brother. Adram, what is going on, fellas? Give me a second. We're going to let maybe some people join. I'm not sure. I am not sure about the link. I don't know if this is showing up as a decent link, to be honest. Let me see. Doesn't look like it's clickable. It's pretty weird. Yeah, not sure about that. Been having problems actually. It's saying I need to change my resolution. Stream status is poor. For you guys that are in here, how does the stream look? Is it clear? If I'm to say go on SPX, is the stream clear? Just kind of getting the hang of these things. It's not as straightforward as I would like it to be. Let me see. Looks clear. Nice. Don't know if we're going to have too many people joining. I've been posting at bad times lately, I think. Okay, so if you guys are seeing it clear, YouTube is saying that I need to change my video resolution, but if it's clear for you guys, I'm good to run it. Truthfully, I don't know if we'll have too many people joining. So if you are here, we're going to take a look at some plays, going to pre-plan for Asia, and it really is just the start. Yeah, I feel like the link that I am posting is not clickable, but it's the link that YouTube is giving me. Yeah. Excuse me while I get the text set up. And then we are going to cook in this live. even if it is to legitimately one person. But we are on the come up, so kind of going to be how it's going to be. All right. If I was to play some music, so I guess we'll just use this as a trial run. Let's see, if I was going to play some music, I wonder how it sounds for you guys. Because I am using an external mic, and I think it does like block it out a little bit. Let me see. Are you guys hearing any music or no? Let me know. Chat is decently dead. That's all right. We can cook anyways. Oh, it's kind of loud. Nice, that's really good to know. Is that better? Yo, we do have another person joining. Remy Jen, welcome, brother. You have found yourself at the start of the journey. Guys, let me know. Interesting, bit loud, can't hear you. Good to know. Good to know. Check my OBS settings. I'm gonna check audio. Make sure that I'm using an external mic. Nice. It must be. Yeah, I believe I'm using the mic. Nice. How's it now? Lucy David, welcome, brother. I recognize your name. You are a TCT OG. Last I saw you were actually trading Forex more than you were trading crypto. Is that correct? How has your journey been? Have you been mostly in FX? Let me know. Yes, I do remember you, brother. I do remember you. I'm just going to, yeah, so the music must be playing right through OBS. So I can barely hear it on my end, but as long as you guys can hear it, I don't really need to hear it. Music is pretty loud. Okay, this is interesting data. I'm gonna have to play around with the settings and stuff. Guys, I'm very new to this. This is my second ever live stream. Yeah, focus on Forex and Bitcoin. I went monk mode, been learning much better that way. Yeah, I like that a lot, bro. I did a similar thing where when you're just always looking at a bunch of altcoins at the time, it really like scatters your focus because you only have so much attention and you only have so much energy. If you are scattering that energy throughout so many different pairs, you're going to kind of miss everything and not be like really focused on the main things. I like that you mentioned Bitcoin. We're going to talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin for me is kind of like my ES, I think. You know, I want to be, you know, I want to be automatic on the Bitcoin chart, I would say. Like, I'm in the current phase of like expanding my edge. I think about Wyckoff completely differently than I used to. And I think about trading differently, and I want to have different modes that I flip into, and I'm going to show some of those modes because today's been one of those days. But if there's not a high probability setup forming in crypto, I can't really hear you with the music. Okay, guys, we're going to go no music. I'm gonna have to get that set up because I'm playing it super low, so it must be something in the settings we're just gonna go with the mic. So hopefully you guys don't mind my voice, because we're gonna go no music. I will figure it out how to really get set up on this streaming thing. But for now, I just wanted to come on, raw cook up. We're gonna cook here, and I'm going to talk about, because today's been a pretty action-packed day for myself and my community, I would say, the last couple days. But what I was saying is, you only have so much energy, and when you're scattering it through like so many altcoins, especially when you're going into these really low caps, because you need this like at least 1 day range, you need this like multi-day perfect range, and then it doesn't even line up with Bitcoin's bias and fails anyways. That's like not something I want to be doing. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty intrigued by the futures market. I'm pretty intrigued by commodities. I'm going to talk about some trades that I've taken recently. I'm going to talk about, if anyone has seen my episode 2 of my Hiro Trader Challenge, and you have any questions about kind of the psychological things that I talk about in that video, whether you're dealing with them yourself or you're even wondering about how I've been dealing with them, I'll kind of talk about it, because I took a trade on gold yesterday and I kind of fell into some old patterns. If you guys saw that episode, you saw me literally getting wrecked over and over and over again for the last little while on that account. There's been some trades like ES that we have running in the background that are not part of that challenge. Did anyone in the chat take this ES setup? I know I shared it in the TCT Discord. If you guys were in there, let me know if anyone took this setup. It was tougher, right? Like, I had someone on X ask me today, like, why didn't you take a break of structure in here? Like, on one of these points. And honestly, guys, like, I was new coming into ES. I think I tried like a short, like with this being like a 1 right here. Let's maybe use this tool. I tried like a 1, I think this was the deviation, and then 3 like that. But that ended up failing and going higher. And then I was like, okay, let's reassess. But I know Lars was kind of calling me out about if it's valid or not using TCT rules with the 6 candle rule. And, I loosely followed that rule on an asset like ES. I'm not following it too much, but it is at least on the CFD chart valid, because you can draw that structure perfectly like this. Even it is like, at least on the CFD chart, I trade the low time frames on the actual futures chart. But for the higher time frames, it actually helps me to see the structure and to see the POIs better when using the CFD chart. It's just a little bit cleaner. There's no gaps. And it's just a little bit cleaner to the eyes. I'm a very aesthetics trader. If you don't know about me, like I really like to identify patterns. And now, like, after seeing, like, I have like a decent database, I would like it more higher. But like some guys, they're very heavy on volume. They're very heavy on this. They're very heavy on statistics or something. At the end of the day, I think my strongest asset is actually just recognizing the structure when it forms. And I'm super bullish on actually studying the Wyckoff phases. I mentioned that a little bit in the first stream, but I was unsure in here. Like, then something that I really like to identify, and I'll show you it on my most recent trade that I took, but is if you can identify like up thrust or springs, they normally get aggressive tests, especially on highly liquid pairs. It seems like very official pairs, but it happens on altcoins. It happens on everything. And it kind of scares people out of the position. So if you can see like this interaction between the UTAD and the test, you can kind of then be like, okay, like now we're getting like some Wyckoff structure, like we're seeing it. And then it gets really manipulative in here. I was watching this supply POI to trade it, but look how fast we came in there. I was like, man, we're coming in hot, but like we're respecting it. And then I was seeing this topping pattern sell off again. So I was like, okay, like we are now we've put in our LPSY. So, we have one more shot to trade the LPSY too. And I did not even wait for a break of structure. I I saw price come into the level. There was a hidden liquidity POI I was also watching. I got a little bit trigger happy, entered right before it, came up almost stopping me out, and then completed the model. What is the time? I mean, we've been in this position for 27 days. You know, there was definitely some doubt along the way, but there's something about, like, as soon as we like sold off there, I was like, okay, like that is potentially. Oh, and I didn't even talk about the SMT. I talked about it in my post in the TCT Discord, but I am a pretty big SMT guy, and I think, you know, SMTs work amazingly well on Bitcoin and ETH, but they literally started on SMP and NQ. So that's pretty much all I have to say about this trade. I am holding for lower. Let's see if I can throw my. I just didn't want to show this to the public, but these are my actual TPs. So I'll get rid of this logo. That will, you know what? Let's actually just hide that. That's for something later, and that will be revealed. But the last time that we had, so for some context, this distribution here, let's just go to the LPSY, is 118 days long. The last time we had a distribution model, it was only 72 days long. And that ended up nuking the chart, you know, 21%. So if we do get some more short confirmations in this area, I'm expecting to at least come to this level. If we zoom out, I really like it as a level. Let's just hide all this. Let's make this M1D. So if we're actually looking at the S&P chart now, we have a bigger and cleaner distribution range that we had here. That nuked the chart 20% since confirmation. So let's even take the high. To this low, we are only looking at a 13% drop. And, you know, I don't think it's out of the question to come at least to here. And I don't want to be like a doom, you know, a doom guy. Just mostly based on structure. Like I do not, you know, follow macroeconomics. We'll talk about like the news a little bit. It seems like the news is just to complete our models. Like I think there was some news today, and we can look at NQ. This was a trade from today. I don't know if you guys watch the futures market, but futures has been giving super clean models. Yo, I'm seeing DXR in the chart, in the chat. Welcome, brother. Welcome, brother. I don't know let me know if any of you guys took NQ today, but NQ was like ridiculously clean. I know I had an anchored VWAP from this high, which was like the only POI that I didn't like, but I won't even talk about that. We can, I'm looking to flip it and then go higher. I've already taken some profits. I would like us to still continue higher. We created some structure demand, but it was a really clean trade overall. I took it almost as a supplement though to the main trade of the day, which is oil. So also let me know if you guys took US oil today. This was a trade that I was watching all day, and I actually tried it once before with, let me find a good tool. Let's just use this one. I tried it right here, this being like a 1, 2, 3, and then it had a break of structure up here that looked good at the time, right? But it ended up just being a little bit premature. And we had this London high here, which is basically all the liquidity remaining in this general range right here. So as it just kept progressing, I really liked how we were building this RTZ. It's like it's literally a thing of beauty. And you had NQ accumulating at the same time, so those are inversed. ES had something, but it wasn't as clean as NQ, so I traded NQ. But yeah, let me know in the chat if anyone took this or they're even watching oil. It's just a very high volume pair, so I think it's valid to be watching it. I also took this on Mexi, boys. Like, it's pretty crazy. I took this on Mexi, and obviously I also took it on FTMO. But if you guys were here for the first live stream I ever did, I took a trade on oil and it was a loss. I can't remember where that was. Let me see if I can quickly find it. Yeah, it was right here. It was right here. I took this trade. It just wasn't in the best POIs. I liked the structure of it, but back then I wasn't using enough confluences in these markets, I don't think. Like I tried this right here. Literally last live stream. So it's kind of a full circle moment because we take that loss, ends up going higher. And then we are on the next live stream and we've just caught this beauty on US oil. But it's funny that DXR is in the chat because this could have been a moment to use one of your patented pullbacks, because the RR to technical target, wasn't the best. It was like a 2. I haven't really taken any profits though. I want to see this low get taken out, like for sure. I want to see this untested low get taken out. I think it will. We've created structure supply right here. So yeah, guys, let me know if you guys are checking this pair. Let me know if you guys are still active actually in the chat. I'm not sure. But yeah, this was a pretty crazy trade, and I said that about DXR because he is known. Yeah, bro, the retracement after confirmed models, you can really test your luck on how gutty you want your entry. Like, imagine snagging even just up here. Would have been a lot nicer. I caught semi of a retest and I scaled in. It will be like a 5.7 if we do hit this low, which I expect to get hit. We'll see what NQ wants to do. I took 50% at the range high, but guys, I will say, like, this game delivers Wyckoffs. It delivers Wyckoffs just on a slightly lower time frame than you may be expecting. Some altcoins and stuff, but it feels more official. It really feels more official. You do want to use some other confluences like VWAP, for example. Fixed range volume profiles seem to be very, very powerful in this game. You can see the volume inefficiency that we had on this range. Literally no volume in the upper section. You had that London high right here. New York opens right here if I show the sessions. Like you built just liquidity during London. You had the previous New York PM and New York highs still intact. That was a clean trade. It was better on ES though. But we can talk about, let me know what you guys want to talk about. Let me know what you guys want to see from a technical perspective. I posted this on X today. This was what we were looking at. Can get rid of all this proof of work. But this was something that I traded yesterday, which was on gold. Gold is also giving these low time frame Wyckoff entries. It was definitely played out, and I thought it was so over right here, to be honest. I really did. I thought we were cooked. But we ended up reversing and hitting the target, so it was pretty nice. I took with 0.5 risk. So only realized 2R because it was 4R, but hey, sometimes you just got to book some singles to keep growing. If you wanted to see what silver was doing at the same time, if you guys are interested in silver. Silver had a similar model. Where was it? Yeah, right here. Silver had like the same model. Again, it was really Lucy David. I'm looking at USD JPY 15-minute time frame. We're absolutely going to check that out. Just doing some recaps of trades that I've taken. Want to know your guys' thoughts on them. If you guys would have taken them, if you guys were watching them, let me know. But this was also an interesting trade. I also took this on one account and I just kind of tried it out on my Hybrid Trader account because silver is tradable on Bybit now. It was always tradable on Bybit TradFi, but now it is tradable right on crypto, the USDT pair. But I like Lucy David in the chat right now. And so I'm going to check USD JPY, see what's cooking there. Let's see. Yeah, that was super clean. That was the last trade. I actually hit a crazy market structure continuation play on USD JPY. I think it was like right here, and we wrote it all the way down. So let's see, USD JPY 15-minute time frame. It's some sort of low time frame distribution here. Broke your structure back to bearish. Are you looking at something in here? Let me know. Is that the right pair? Yeah, USD JPY. Let me know. I haven't looked at this pair in a minute. Let me actually just zoom out and do some TA on it. So we were in like a bigger almost. Yeah, I don't really love this range. It's like some sort of huge range where this is like a 1, 2, and then like maybe we're getting some sort of 3, but I don't know if we're going to flush that hard. I'd rather just scalp intraday mostly. You're saying, yeah, you're looking at this range right here. I mean, it could be a nice play because you had that breaker structure right here. And then see the POIs. I mean, obviously this is the obvious POI. Maybe we can like set up some sort of range into it, or this whole thing can become a bigger range. Let me just check. Yeah, I mean, you rejected decently off the 705. That's pretty clean. It's pretty clean price behavior. But maybe you are watching. Did your model already complete? That wouldn't be valid. This was like a low time frame. It was very extended in the third tap though. It's pretty clean though. Is this what you were watching? Let me know. I think I'd prefer it on like the 5-minute. It's a bit interesting. It is definitely a bit interesting. Maybe there's some hidden liquidity in here. I'm not sure. But is this the model that you were looking at? Let me know if I've identified the structure the way that you are seeing it. Kind of like a 3-tap like this. I see a model too. Yeah, could be where you just pull it, where you just pull the range here. But it already completed, correct? Then you have like a 1, 2, 3 complete. That's a pretty interesting model. Harder to trade for sure. Yeah, pretty interesting. Let's see. Yeah, so it's already completed though. Maybe it's like this. I have a harder time trading FX sometimes. It gets weirder models for sure. The color scheme, I don't really like what I got going on right now. Color scheme is a little weird, but since the model already played out, let's look at some crypto. One of the cleanest Wyckoffs in the game right now is actually XMR. I'm not in this position. I was watching us come into this POI. We had demand below, but it didn't really. Yeah, I had an idea where I just put the stop loss above this high and get in on the low time frame break there. This would be how it would be playing out. Let me know if you guys were in this at all. I don't really know if we can get a re-entry. Maybe we can work our way back up and take out this high, but I kind of do like this high as an LPSY. it was just hard to trade. You had pretty good demand below, had to be viewed as a manipulative move up, which it kind of was. I think it was the London session. It was the London session pushing us up there. It was tougher. It was tougher. You also had the POC. If you guys traded this, you guys are dogs. But pretty clean Wyckoff structure there. Coming to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's in a really interesting spot, and it's pretty pivotal. We're going to zoom in here. It looks a bit messy on the higher time frame. But let's zoom in. Just wanted to see our history, where we've been. You know, let me know in the chat, guys. I actually have some POIs missing here that I'm going to add back. I was doing some back testing in this area. But there's some hidden liquidity POIs in this area that I really like. I actually think we can just pull them again. I think it's a 4-day. Get rid of all this. Yeah. So if you guys don't have this POI on your chart, I would potentially put this on. It's slightly a partial, but it's an interesting area of the chart. I think it'll probably get some sort of reaction. So what color are we using for Hobbs these days? Purple. It's a pretty interesting level. I'll look to like refine levels within. I think it's probably backed by some fibs as well. Get that 705 right below it. I wonder if we like pulled from the exact start. Nah, I don't like pulling from there. I like it from here. And there's probably some other areas you can look at. 705s, it's quite above. It's decently in the area, but you know, it's not my hidden liquidity is not my expertise. I like to have the POIs on the charts though, because you can't deny that they work. You know, you can't deny that they work. And we've seen Bitcoin so many times like put in pivot points and Wyckoff models like this one. This Wyckoff model right here is right into hidden liquidity. That was the only POI. And then that is literally the swing short all the way to complete the model. But coming back to the local price action on Bitcoin, it's really been a beautiful range, honestly. Let me take these sessions off. It's really been a beautiful range. Let me know in the chat. Okay, let me see. Got in last week but couldn't re-enter on this. Oh, I assume you're talking about XMR. Yeah, XMR has been harder to trade for sure. Maybe there will be a potential entry along the way. So I'm kind of just got it on my list to be watching it. But let me know in the chat, guys. Is this how your Bitcoin chart looks? Is this the range you guys are watching? Are you pulling some new range in here? Or do you have this Wyckoff on your chart? I just want to quickly default check. Yo, we got ATV in the chat. Rageman. Remagen says, yeah. Okay, nice, brother. Nice, brother. Reason being, let me just check this. I want to make sure my volume profile, apply default. Yeah, it slightly moves the POC down. It's pretty similar though. Slightly change it. I'll have to fix that. I'll have to fix this volume profile, but we did get the reaction from the demand POI. It was an 18-hour and 12-hour order block, I think, within a 1-day order block. But now, the question is, what is next? I'm kind of locally bullish, actually, but cautiously bullish. I'm only bullish because I would like us to come into this area to put in an LPSY. You know, if we can get some sort of range here, I would prefer us to front run. If I had a preference, I would prefer us to front run this supply because it's obvious and use this hidden liquidity right here. So if you don't have this hidden liquidity, I'm not going to go onto the lower time frame to find it again. I forget what it is. But find this POI, have it on your chart. It might get disrespected, but it's definitely a level to be watching in case we get a range up here. And this can be the whole range right here. Maybe the market makers give us a treat and they actually just give us a Wyckoff into there and then dump it lower. Let's see if we can actually draw something, and this will not be a Picasso. I'm good on the path. You know what? Maybe let me stay in my lane, hey? Let me stay in my lane. So maybe if we like spend some time in here and then we come back up, maybe I'll draw it too good, but we sweep this London high that I want to get swept. And then I don't know if I'm drawing enough manipulation though. Maybe I'll just draw best case, right? Like something like this. Then maybe slight fast retest and then aggressively sell it off, come back up, flip this POI, and then complete the model and take out that low. So if we get something like this, this is like the absolute best case, right? Like if we want to draw, like if I was the market maker and I wanted to make it easy, maybe it's a little bit harder because of the hidden liquidity POI, but this is what I would love to see. This would be like, okay, like it's been harder to trade. You get wrecked in the Model 2, didn't trade the Model 1. If they want to make it easy for us, they give us this range right here and we can all trade it and we can all be happy. Do I think that this is going to happen? The Bitcoin is a manipulated asset so that it's not easy to trade most times, though it does trade extremely clean, especially after the fact. If we could get something like this, I would be a very happy man. And then the bulls can get wrecked that have been running their mouths. But maybe they'll be right. Maybe they'll be right and we'll just break the whole model. We'll disrespect all this supply. But if we don't, then hopefully we can see that. Hopefully we can see that happening. What altcoins are you guys watching to maybe pair with this if Bitcoin ends up not getting our most picture perfect range here? What else can we be looking at? And that's a good time to maybe look at some altcoins. So first one I want to definitely look at is Sol. Let me know in the chat, guys. The chat has been decently dead, which I understand. We are on the come up and it's also 6 p.m. Wanted to do this though before Asia, and we had some crazy plays that I showed on oil and NAS that I wanted to talk about, but we could be having, so sorry, I should zoom out here first. So here's my range on Sol. And now you may be thinking we have this demand. For sure we do. So is it preferred to maybe come down and mitigate it first? Yes, but I'm not married to it because this was a news event. So this was all manipulation. Let's maybe make that orange. This is all manipulation right here. And it's also backed by a Wyckoff Model 1. So we can look at this as Wyckoff creating Wyckoff. I think there was a play that was very similar to this, just reversed. It was, what pair was it though? It's an FX player, so maybe Lucy David knows, but it was maybe GBP USD, where it was like had an accumulation. There was nice buy side liquidity above, and then it got a distribution similar to like this, came in aggressively, and then completed the model. I believe it was GBP USD. I'd have to check. Maybe some of the Forex sweats will know. But yeah, I would be fine trading a local model. So let's flip it back. I would be fine trading a local range, and we can already pull our range because it's confirmed like this on Sol. And I will look at kind of how we've been forming. So yeah, we would maybe just look to disrespect this. Yeah, I don't mind it. Sol's definitely on my list, especially given that we had an interesting accumulation. Actually didn't sweep that low, so we still have that low there. we'll see. We'll see how it develops. This could have been a small accumulation to create an AR of our Wyckoff model, because we're looking to trade Wyckoff and Wyckoff here. So it could be the case where this is the AR. Guys, do you think of Wyckoff models in points, extended models, stuff like that, or do you think in Wyckoff like terminology? Let me know. Let me know in the chat if you guys like. Where is your thought process? Do you think more in advanced range theory? I think a lot in advanced range theory, I would say, but then like thinking about accumulations creating range lows of distributions as automatic rallies, you know, thinking about distributions that create a bigger range being like, oh, sorry, I'm getting a call from my friend. You'll have to wait. Thinking about distributions that create the starting point of bigger ranges as putting in the PSY and the buying climax. I started to think about that a lot recently, and it helps me to identify, I think, a little bit better. Just something that I've thought about. Does anyone have any more altcoins? Yo, Alex, what's up, bro? Thank you for the audio comment. You know, I had Alex in my DMs, and he was telling me that my audio was complete dog shit on a couple of my videos, and I really took that to heart. And you know, we went and upgraded the system. So shout out to you, Alex. Absolutely loved that, and is a reason that I have this current mic. So shout out to you. Appreciate you, brother. You forced me to level up. What is our friend Hype doing, guys? I don't know if I want to talk about this sauce actually on the stream. I'm going to save it, but just know if you guys are on this stream, I'm working on another entry system to enter Wyckoffs, especially scalps, where you're not using break of structures necessarily. I'm not going to say too much on it right now. Maybe some of you guys know what I mean by that. But I need more testing on it. I need more testing. So LTC is also nice. ZEC, oh man. Yeah, BNB, we'll definitely check BNB. I don't have too much success trading BNB, I'm not gonna lie. Is this how you guys were seeing Hype? I mean, I saw it the whole way, but I never end up executing. I actually had this hidden entry right here, like this. It was absolutely insane. And I closed it way too early, married to this Model 1 POI that I had. That entry would have been insane. I would have loved to be in that. But Hype was clean nonetheless. I'll get rid of that. Like, one thing I'll say about Hype while we have it up, and then I'm going to check those other coins. But guys, don't be so married, in my opinion. Don't be so married to having to pull your range. Like most times, yes. But if you have a clear distribution at the highs, watch for your model to then start here with a selling climax and then to go into the model. Don't be like, oh, I have to pull my range from this high and then I got some shit model like in here that I'm only working with. Like, make sure that you are allowing yourself to look at structure like this and don't get completely put inside the box. Like if you were unsure, watch Hype run a masterclass on it, because look at this range. Like if you would have pulled from here, you're fucked. You're not in the trade, you know. Evidently I wasn't either way, because I was again married to this hidden liquidity POI that was backed by 618. It was the optimal place to put in the reversal. But we've had enough success trading Hype, and we will trade it again. But look at this carbon copy distribution. Again, here's your selling climax, goes into a Model 2, pumps to complete the bigger model that had a distribution, and then started here and went in a Model 2. Like literally fractals right here. Pretty crazy to see. Enough rambling about Hype. You know what? I will check ZEC, you know, just because we're live and just because it's in the chat. What has this coin been doing? I need to zoom out. Wow. Wow, let's clean this thing up. This was an absolute pump. No clean accumulation, which is like kind of unfortunate for the chart. I guess this was kind of clean right here, and that ends up being your bottom. So yeah, all right, ZEC, we'll give you this one. Decent. That if you entered on that accumulation, wow, you were definitely printing. It never had it chose blow off top. So as Wyckoff traders, when a chart uses a blow off top to put in a high, you're kind of priced out a little bit unless you're like versed in trading blow off tops. I'm not personally. So that kind of is what it is. I want to check daily structure first. So you never took that high. So your market structure low is right here. So you actually SFP'd that. So this chart is not necessarily bearish. Yes, it can go lower, but it looks like this chart probably wants to reverse. Maybe even with this being the range to do it. That's pretty interesting. Let's see what time frame you did get a break of structure on. So you did get a break of structure on the 18-hour. Daily for me definitely overrides 18-hour just in long-term outlooks, but you do get 18-hour break of structure, which is pretty high time frame break. Liquidity resting at these highs will get taken out. The way we're coming back, you know what? Thank you for whoever 8RAM. Yo, you're an OG 8RAM. But yeah, ZEC, there is going to be a time to long this. There's going to be a time to long this. I wonder if it's this range. So let's start in a downtrend. Not what we talked about on hype, pulling our range from low to high. Most times, like 9 times out of 10, you're pulling your range. But it's only in those times where you do have a BCH tapping into supply and about to have a low time frame breaker structure. You're looking at an active play on BCH. We can definitely check it out. BCH is tradable on FTMO, so I'm definitely looking to trade it. I got chopped up in the macro distribution, never re-entered. I tried XMR again, and that thing actually blasted it to the moon. Actually went to the moon, blow off top to put in the high. So XMR has been a harder trading coin for sure. We got supply. I guarantee that this is structure supply. Probably on some sort of time frame. And I did not forget about BCH. Just going to finish up a little bit here on ZEC. So we got some nice POIs there for a short. Looks like you just swept some liquidity. You have a order block right here. Beautiful. You're in the discount section. Yeah, I don't really see a short here, especially compared to some other coins. But good to look at ZEC again. You actually had a pretty nice accumulation right here. Wow. Whoa. Just seeing this now. This was one of the cleaner accumulations that the altcoins had. ETH was pretty clean. Sol was decently clean. Hard trade though. Wow. No one alerted me about this. Guys, if you ever see something like this and you want to be a good guy, send me a message on X or Discord if you have me on there, and just be like, hey man, do you want to trade a good looking range? Well, I have one for you. And then send me this and we will be friends, because this is pretty clean. Just seeing this now. You even did leave some demand, clean demand that you never come back for. Always the best when you have that POI and you don't even come back for it. So yeah, I mean, we've been looking at the futures markets and stuff, but there's absolutely a place to trade altcoins. Like I was looking at XPL had a distribution that was like absolutely a thing of beauty. I would have taken that candle closer. Not even a higher R though. So it's nothing too crazy. Technically, you could have taken no. It's this candle close. 2.7. It's decent. stack them. You had liquidity above, definitely target this high. 3, yeah, just it would have been just a good trade. It's always good to just be in good trades like this, no matter the RR. It's a 2, 3, could be an 8. You know, that's just up for the market. I want to check BCH. Let's check that out. Ooh, look at these little bit low liquidity looking candles. BCH just got going here. And you're saying that there is a model. Is it very low time frame? Not really seeing a model here. Let's maybe zoom out. Let's see actually, because I haven't looked at BCH. Wow, guys. BCH could go a lot lower. BCH could go a lot lower. This is old TA. Hey, we got the green and red default. We got the default POIs. Let's be changing that. But that'll happen quite a bit on some of these altcoins because I haven't checked them in a bit since the rebrand. But pretty nice. If you guys are wondering what this SMT is, it's actually with Bitcoin. So I looked it up, and the SMT relationship with BCH and Bitcoin is a weird one. It's where BCH has to be the one not taking that high. So I don't know who made that rule. I was alerted about it from AI, but it seems to be working so far. This is like a beautiful model. So I have some history with this model, and I would like to give it another go because I haven't had too many trades just yet in my career where we are catching those lower time frame distributions or accumulations for higher time frame targets. And those will be extremely high RR. Look at that volume profile. Absolutely nice. We got ATV in the chat, so we're going to pull it from Swing High too. Ooh, from Swing High doesn't tell a very good story. Not that it really matters too much, but it does position that value area high by this POI, so that's interesting. The way we're pulling back is high quality. I'm going to throw this back on my list. I'm going to be looking to catch a distribution because when we find ourselves operating in this type of environment, yeah, do you know what just actually came to me, guys? Is BCH kind of forecasting a crazy crash on Bitcoin as well? We'll have to see. You know, only time will tell. Only time will tell if we're going to complete this model. But the model looks to me like too good to not complete. If I was the market maker, I would complete this in spectacular fashion, like they did back in the day on, you know, the SUI macro distribution. After, I know probably some people in TCT traded the accumulation, not as many traded the distribution that followed, but like something like that, and anything that had a distribution at that time just completed in the most spectacular fashion. Liquidation candle just straight down, almost like above EQ, straight down, completing the model. Imagine being in something like that. That would be exhilarating. But coming back to BCH here, I want to definitely check this out because we don't have to make our way back up here. That's the obvious POI. But if we get any sort of low time frame distribution, then it looks like we have a pretty crazy range here. So let's check it out. Remove our bigger EQ. Wow. Okay. Very nice. I don't think we'll have. Now we could have some fib. We could have some fib confluence from here. Be from that swing point though. Bang! Wow. 618 touch. That's pretty clean. Yo, who put this on my radar? Let me just check the chat. Yo, Josh. Shout out Josh, bro. You are a legend. You are a legend, bro. If you guys are wondering about fibs, man, like it's just algorithmic. It's just, I don't know what it is. And if you guys want to have a conversation about what the market even is, I'm all ears. You know, it is the market itself is pretty crazy. Whatever's going on. is pretty crazy. I don't know what it is about the fibs though. It must just be the algorithms. The algorithms just like them a lot. But tapping in with BCH here, let's absolutely dissect this motherfucker. All right. Haven't seen a nice looking altcoin range like this on this time frame in a minute. Gonna be really taking a look at this. I don't know if I love this low off rip. Don't take that high. This is all structure supply. There's no inefficiency, but it's respecting it. So let's see what we have. We're hugging like Bitcoin is. So it's not the absolute best when it is like this, but given that it lines up with Bitcoin, it's also a +1. I want to really do a deep dive on this. I want to pull out all the stops here. We're going to take a look at everything. I want to know every POI. I was hoping we were going to get some sort of like nice structure POI here. You actually do kind of have one above. Sometimes maybe the market makers just put these on for aesthetics. Let's see. Nothing here really. I think it was just an order block. It was just an order block. What do you guys think about like market maker psychology? Like where it's like if a model is designed to give a very significant move, they will make it not the easiest trade, not your picture perfect Wyckoff model, if you will. They will make it a little interesting. They'll make the high look like liquidity, or they'll make the next retest look like liquidity, and then they'll fucking dump it. I understand the psychology, right? Like if everything was super obvious, everyone would profit. This game is, you know, only 1% of people are profiting. So it does make sense. There is one scenario here, guys, where we do adjust the range from here to here. I want to take a look at it through those eyes as well, because I don't love the current high and I also like Bitcoin to go higher. So if this was the range, I would prefer it, because then we get a farther move away. We're not quite hugging that low. It does put this POI in play, and I want to, now that this is potentially in play, we're also going to put this on because I think it's a perfect tap and or just misses it. What do you guys think? Does that hit it or no? I think it's a perfect tap, guys, but we can definitely use it again. Get rid of that. So this is kind of how it's setting up to me. Also slightly rebranded to a little bit more orange. This is how I'm seeing the structure, guys. I think in the best way, if we get like something else, but got to also use Bitcoin's timing a little bit. If we can come up into this POI, you know, this would be a pretty heavy short for me. Actually, I'd probably take this with 2% risk. Yeah, what we're looking at right now, you guys will have to bank this. If this does end up going down and we end up trading it, multiple people who are in this live stream, and it ends up running for the higher time frame target, we'll have to have a good chat if that ends up going down. So let's see what we have. We have no AR, which is fine. Create only liquidity. Very fine. I would then look at this as the PSY. I would look at this as the buying climax, which has a function. So let's talk about this. I like for your Wyckoff points to have a function, like they did something. So most of the times what they're doing is either sweeping liquidity or they're coming into supply. So what the PSY did was ends up sweeping all of the liquidity right here and taking out this swing point. That was its job, complete. The buying climax, it came up, and I was almost about to say this is almost like a local model right here that doesn't complete. So it's a +1. But what does this buying climax do? It comes into supply and it breaks structure. So even main market structure right here, back to bearish. So like from the whole market structure from this low, it's not internal. It is, I know pretty much probably everyone on here is advanced, but if they're not, or just like, guys, I don't even say advanced, but like, even if you are advanced, drawing the market structure is so underrated. It is actually so underrated for generating context and just like seeing the market, in my opinion. When I went back to market structure, just like drawing it out and doing that, I don't know, I became more clear, I think, in my ideas. Let me know what you guys think about that in the chat. Oh, this is a Lars trade. I can't take credit. Okay. Well, you know, shout out Lars, Mr. TCT. That guy's dialed. Yeah, he checks BCH. You know, it's funny when you kind of go off on your own a bit more, it's really good for your development. But I kind of miss like miss the day-to-day of TCT sometimes, because I don't really check. I don't really check too often. I just kind of like to have my ideas, the way I see the market. I will check other traders' ideas sometimes, but I don't know, in my phase, and I know I'm talking to other traders. I don't know if he'll want me to say this, but TCT Lazo, if you guys know him, he's become a good friend of mine, and he's going to do a month where he's not even in my Discord. He's not in TCT. He is just going on his own and doing like a month challenge in April where he doesn't look at Discord, he doesn't look at X. He just wakes up every day and looks at his charts and sees how he's profitable and whatnot. You don't check your bro's ideas, bro. No. Sometimes I will for sure, and that's a guy that is a DXR. You're one to say that, brother. You are locked in on a different level, bro, most times. And you are doing your own thing most times. So I don't know what that comment is about you, but yeah, no, I don't check all the time. I also had a really bad streak where every Lars trade I would take would be a loss. And even if it was a loss for him, he would like re-enter and get the win, and I would like not re-enter or something. But so I just kind of had a rule where I don't do that anymore. At least not right now. I'm actually waiting for the day for me and Lars to take a trade again, and it will be a full circle moment. The last time I saw Lars, I guess it wasn't the last time I saw him since, but we were in Miami together and we were going out to dinner. It was like the first time we were meeting in person. And earlier that day, he took a trade on silver and he was thinking it was going to lose. And I was like unsure of it too. I was unsure of it. I didn't enter. We ended up both trading Bitcoin that day. And what did I tell you? Bitcoin ends up being a loss and silver ends up being a win. And he just absolutely trade mogged me at dinner. It was pretty funny though. We had a really good couple nights in Miami. But the more, coming back to the charts, enough story time. If you guys want to hear some stories from that trip, or even about my arc, let me know, because I was nomading very heavily at that time. I was just in the area and Lars was like, yo, I'm going to Miami. Are you going to do you want to come? And I end up just getting an Airbnb downtown for the week. You know, we set up like trading setup and it was great. I ended up hitting an 8 RR on Hyperliquid. That was literally a touch and go of hidden liquidity. It was fond memories of that week. But since that, I end up leaving the Miami area and I'm in a different part of Florida right now. But I'm not originally from Florida or anything. I'm actually Canadian. I don't know if you guys will think that's bullish or bearish. You guys can let me know in the chat though, if you so feel. But coming into BCH again, let me get a cleaner volume profile. I think I made a green one for him. Yeah, volume's distributed pretty nicely. Good gap right here. Wow, I really like this range, guys. I really like this range. The fact that this is a FTMO pair is so goated too. is really goated. Shout out FTMO. Guys, if you guys are still active in the chat, if anyone is still active, let me know what prop firms you guys like, what prop firms you're funded on. Let me know what you're thinking of them. Are you on a prop that you don't like, that you do like? Let me know. I would love to know what your guys' experiences are in the space. 8Ram saying, I agree. Sometimes as feedback is good, but sometimes you get lost in other people's ideas. Yes. So why do I think you get lost in other people's ideas? I don't know exactly how to say this. I believe, like, you know, as traders, we are people who are trying to, like, we are different in the sense that our work is just like ourselves, and like there's uncapped potential. I believe like there is like forces that are watching us, you know, they're watching us, they're forcing us to level up, and they think in terms of energy because the universe is all energy. I would love to make a video about this because I'm studying a lot of quantum physics right now, and the things that you learn about in quantum physics kind of breaks your brain a little bit, and it kind of shatters your world, or the view that you have of the world then no longer functions the same. And then you start to read books, crazier books like Reality Transurfing, if you guys have read that. I saw Mr. Abundance did a post. If you guys know Mr. Abundance on X, he was also in the TCT Discord back in the day. But it was funny to see that he's a transurfer, and he's using those principles in the market as I am as well. Yeah, there is, I believe there's like forces watching us, call it God, call it whatever. And the highest frequency in energy is authenticity. So when you are as a trader, and it's easy to do this when you're coming up because you don't really know, but when you are just like you're just executing based on someone else's ideas, you are then not being authentic. And I think when you trade authentically, and it's a huge reason why I kind of just I had to go off on my own. When you trade authentically, it seems like your trades flow a lot better. When you're just a robot and you're taking other people's trades, the market seems to punish that. I don't know why. A lot of the things in like quantum physics and stuff, you almost can't say why. Like your brain, you're not using enough of your brain. You don't know enough. We don't know enough about the universe yet to know exactly why. But it seems, at least in my experience, that the market always rewards authentic ideas. And when you just like, oh, I saw someone post this, I'm going to trade this. I saw someone enter this. It's good as confirmation. Like, oh, I was already watching this. It's a +1. I see a really good trader like Lars is also entering this. I now know that, you know, my TA is on point, and, you know, it's a +1. But if you're just like seeing Lars post something or someone on X post something, and you're just entering blindly, I don't think the market likes that. I don't know why though. I don't know why. I've never had success with it. But yeah, that's kind of my spiel on that. That's kind of my spiel on that. BCH, alert is set for this high. Would love this high to get taken out. Come into this POI. I wonder if it's also backed by fibs from this higher swing point. Let's check. Let's check it out. Okay, not really. 618 rejection perfectly. Oh no, I already pulled the fibs from that swing point. Let's pull it from a higher swing. I think if we pull it from a higher swing point, there won't be. Yeah, these are kind of the levels. 705 is too high up. I wouldn't say there's any fib confluence. It's definitely, you can definitely be watching this as the starting point too, but then, you know, you're in a 4 tap, which I don't like. I really like this. I'm assuming this is how Lars is looking at it too. So definitely I'm going to add this to my watch list right now. I'm going to add this to my watch list. Put it in swing setups. Perfect. Perfect. Bang. Regimen. Yeah, and someone tells you it's not a good one and you end up not taking it, and then it's a banger. Yeah, the start of everyone's villain arc right there. Start of everyone's arc into authentic trading right there. I was speaking with a trader named Tom, and that was kind of his arc. He wanted to take a trade, and we were like, "Oh no, it's not a good one." And then it played out, and he was like, "Oh man." So yeah, when that happens, I guess it does. It forces you to level up. Forces you to level up for sure. But yeah, wow, this is amazing. We do a quick CL check. Yeah, pretty interesting. DXR, I know you've been taking amazing trades lately. I've been loving that. Would have liked to see you in oil. I know you don't trade oil though. I wanna get you into these indices a little bit more because I think they are extremely lucrative. They do provide models. Yeah, listening to too many voices is never a good thing. Yeah. Sometimes you have to eliminate the noise. You got to eliminate the noise. So a story for me is I did let the voices and the noise get to me on the Bitcoin range. You know, I was public about the fractal range on Bitcoin. I loved the fractal range from 2022. I made a post about it. I was like, oh, like if we get a Model 2 here, it'd be perfect for that fractal range. And, you know, we can continue like last cycle. And it ended up failing. And then there was people who were celebrating it, you know, like, oh, like the fractal range is gay and whatnot. And then it goes into a Model 1. And, you know, fractal ranges, they don't have to be exactly the same. They can rhyme. You know, you can get Model 1s that are Model 2s and whatnot. And Bitcoin, you know, it's just perfect. It's just perfect, honestly, the way it did that and the way it manipulated my psychology to even like take my foot off the gas and be like, oh, wow, maybe I was wrong. Maybe we're actually farther along. We're actually down where Bitcoin puts in its bottom, and it actually gets like 3 market structure continuations and then a range and then down and then a PO3 and back up. But I don't believe that to be the case. I believe we're having a Model 1 exactly the same as the fractal range had a Model 2, and that will send us down. So yeah, when the voices get too loud, you just kind of got to tune it out. You kind of got to tune it out. You got to trust your read. You got to trust your execution. And for me, I made a rule after that trade. I said, if I have an idea and I trade a Model 2, I have to then trade the Model 1 if it's valid. I think that's a really good rule to have if you're trading Wyckoff. It sets you up. You may have to take 2 losses. You know, your idea doesn't play out. You take 2 losses, but hey, at least you saw it through. And hey, if the Model 1 doesn't confirm anything and it just goes higher or lower, then you just take that 1 loss on the Model 2 and you reassess your TA and you go again, but on something else. But if your Model 2 fails, trade the motherfucking Model 1. I think it's a really good rule to have for yourself, and it will set you up to not have your idea play out without you. You know, I would rather lose twice on my idea that I had than see it play out as the Model 1 without me. So let me know if you guys also have that rule. Let me know if that's how you guys see it, because that was something I added. That was something I added to my rules after that Bitcoin play. How is my boy NQ? I've moved my TP2 to right here. If anyone's in this, I will just call it a good trade. We kind of got some market maker supply right there. Do I think we're gonna take this high? Yes. I think this could even be like an accumulation. I'm looking for distributions on NQ after this. But this was one of the first ranges that I really traded on NQ. Let me know in the chat if you guys look at futures like this chart. I think they got crazy aura, boys. Like, I think they actually got crazy aura. I think the biggest players in the game, this is what they're looking at on a decently daily basis. These things spawn Wyckoff models in the 1 minute time frame like every day. And sometimes for me, I'm coming from like the professional athlete world. And like, I do like things to be fast paced a little bit sometimes, sometimes waiting forever. It's not my strong suit. So sometimes when your model can play out in like a couple candles, it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. But you have to back test it. You have to really be watching some other factors more. So volume is huge in this futures game. And I've been learning a lot. I've been learning a lot about volume from one of my really good friends, ATV. I shouted him out last live stream. If you guys don't follow him on X, he's going to be posting a lot more. He's currently learning a lot. He's in the lab every day, studying, and he's going to be dropping a lot of good volume knowledge on X. So yeah, I'm looking to be more of a volume guy. I'm looking to now expand out of just aesthetics, out of just structure, and I want to combine that volume aspect into the TI. I think it'll only make me a better trader. It'll make me more well-rounded trader. Because Richard Wyckoff is using volume a shit ton. And I don't currently use it enough within Wyckoff, I think. There's also, I've seen where it can like overload your, it's kind of information overload sometimes. So you kind of got to pick and choose like what you want to add in. Like, I don't want it to, paralyze me from not taking trades and be like, oh, we had this anchored VWAP from this high, blocking us. It's not gonna take me away from taking like a structured trade like this, especially when we have our fixed range volume profile looking like this. Like this is one of the greatest volume inefficiencies I've seen in a minute. Alex, do you already live from trading? Not necessarily, brother. No, I wouldn't say so. I'm looking to live from trading, but I don't think anyone who tells you that they're living from trading and they haven't been trading for like 3 years is most likely lying. I'm always keeping it authentic. No, I don't live from trading. My goal is to live from trading, yes, but to live from trading, you need to put in the hours. You have to have so many trades in your journal. You have to be funded. You have to be consistently getting payouts. That's my goal. I'm actively working on it every day. I'm showing up to the charts every day. I'm doing this full time every day. But I don't currently live off of it. I'm very close to living off it though. I have some macro plays running that, if those hit target, I'll be living off those for months, probably. But in this current moment, the current present moment right now, no. But also, guys, look at how we flip this anchored VWAP. So I'm just anchoring VWAP from like major swing points. It was actually, you could have used it to trade the Model 1 on Bitcoin. Maybe I'll show that to end off this stream, a little value drop. Let's see. What are you doing besides trading? Nothing, brother. Tell us your plays. Ken, what am I doing besides trading? Nothing right now, brother. I'm working on healing my body from professional sports. So I'm basically just trading, working out, meditating, writing a lot, studying a lot of quantum physics. I'm going to be building. I'm building a mental model that I will look to roll out whenever it's done. Whenever I also have the results to say, okay, guys, this is the mental model that I'm running, and it's made me extremely profitable. Because I learned from a billionaire that, I can't remember if I said this last stream, but I will say it again. I learned from a billionaire that your mental state and your understanding of the universe and how you are, I don't know what the best way to say it is. Let's just say your mental state or the information or frequency that you're giving off is the main determining factor in your success and how wealthy you become. So what do I mean by that? So he talks about a scale between actions. So basically your thoughts and your actions. And he says, well, what do you think is the correlation between them? What do you think the scale is? Do you think it's 50% your actions? So this is all your systems, whatever you're doing. If you're selling something, however you're making money, if you're trading, what do you think the balance is between actually doing that and your thoughts and the way that you are, like your manifestation skills, basically the thoughts you're thinking? And I talk about in episode 2 a little bit, I touched on it with your state of being. So quickly, your state of being is something that you are always sending out to the universe, whether you know it or not. This is the quantum model. This is what's going on. So you as a being, an awareness that's inhabiting a human body, you are always sending out a signal to the world. And this signal is based on 2 things. It's based on the thoughts that you're having in your brain, and your thoughts are electric. So your thoughts are leaving your brain. And the second factor is your emotions. So between your thoughts and emotions, these combine to create your state of being. So if your thoughts are all negative and your emotions are all negative, you feel fear, you feel anger, you feel all these things, and you're also thinking them, you are now sending out a signal. You know what? Let's use trading and money and lack. It's an easy way to explain it. So if in your mind, so let's say you want to be a profitable trader. You're like, I want to do trading for a living. And then in your thoughts every day, you are thinking about how you don't have enough money to do this. You are thinking about, like, no trades work out for me. Like I miss every setup. All these things that you're thinking, you know, we've all done it. Like, oh, all the setups are not in my session. You're thinking all these things. You're now sending out a signal that you don't want to be sending out. You're sending out that you miss trades, that every trade you take is a loss. I don't have enough money. Even though you say, I want money, you're saying, I want it. You're saying, I don't have it. So the universe picks that up and it says, okay, well, this guy, he misses every trade. He wants money. He doesn't have money. And it will just keep reflecting that back to you. Now, all your trades will be out of session and whatnot, because you are creating your own reality. And I would love to talk a lot deeper about that, but I'm kind of Trump weaving right now, but back to what the billionaire was saying, is he's saying, so what is the balance between your thoughts and your actions? I was thinking maybe it's 50-50, having good thoughts, good energy, and, 50% of what you do. He says it's actually 90-10. And even if all the billionaires aren't saying this, they all know it, that it's all about this state of being that you're sending out. It's 90-10 over your actions. Like, you can work and hustle. You all know the stories of people who worked really hard, and they never escaped the matrix. They were never financially free. They still live in lack to this day. They go to restaurants and they're concerned about the prices, and they've worked super hard. And then there's the guy who, he knew the manifestation secrets. He built a business, or he did something outside of the matrix, and he goes to the restaurant and he doesn't worry about the prices or any of that. He doesn't let lack into his brain. Like, the universe picks up that this guy is abundant. He doesn't worry about these things. And it's hard to do when you feel like you are not in a situation. Right now maybe you're looking at your bank account and you can't afford a sports car. You can't afford any of these things. But it's a fine line. You always think about, like, you never think, I can't have that. You always think, like, I'm building to that. You have to embody that state first. And it's so much easier said than done. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's easy. But if you can continuously do that every day, you continuously show up as the version of yourself that that you can be. You act as that guy. Even if you can't afford the super nice thing, you never think like, I don't have enough money to afford that. You think, I will have enough money to afford that. And eventually reality will reflect that back to you. The thing that I'm working on right now, this is like my main priority, is to always be thinking and putting myself in a mental state where the trades come to me. Like, when you set your goal, you kind of just have to set it and forget it, and then worry about just your process. So then The thought process behind that is when you do have a state of being that is positive and is aligned with your goals and your future self, it's not counteracting, then things start to come to you. You start to become magnetic. All of a sudden, you check a chart and there's a trade there for you. You know, you're not scouring around, forcing setups, listening to 1,000 different voices and then forcing something. The trades start to come to you because reality is responding to the frequency, basically, the information that you're giving off. That state of being is now giving you a reality where the things that you want, which is to be profitable, but which is to live off trading. Now, the way to do that, obviously, you have to trade models. You have to be in good trades that are profitable. Now those trades are coming to you. So that is my main focus. That is my main focus. It's not to force trades. It's not to check a million pairs. It's to set this state of being and to operate as my highest self at all times. And it's hard. Like, I've been in trades where I'm not detached and pretty much everything that you could think of. But my main focus right now is to always be sending out and staying in a state of being that is reflecting of the life that I want to live. I don't know if that is, I don't know, I've been absolutely yapping there for a while. Hopefully that's making some sense. I'm not still sure who is still here. But hopefully that is making some sense, and hopefully you guys are taking something from that. Let me know if you guys have any questions, want me to clarify anything. But even if you don't believe me, I'm going to continue to document the whole process. I'm going to continue to do all these things, and we'll check back in a year. I'm not going to be forcing any setups right now. I'm going to be locking in this state of being. It's actually law of attraction, 100%. So it is law of attraction. Some people hear law of attraction and they think like manifestation, oh, it doesn't work. The reason law of attraction doesn't work for some people is because they don't understand it. They don't understand that your state of being. So your state of being, what the law of attraction is basically the universe reflecting back who you are being. So you attract who you're being. You do not attract what you want. You only attract what you are being. If you want money, the law of attraction is going to give you more situations to want money. You're going to miss that sale. You're going to miss that trade. You are going to stay in that state of wanting money. You're never going to be the person that has money. So that is what the law of attraction is. The law of attraction is impartial. You can be using the law of attraction to absolutely destroy your life. It's very interesting. And it's impartial. It's very impartial, and it's a funny part. It's a funny part of the universe. But when people actually understand it and they start embodying their higher selves every day, that is when the law of attraction is in motion. Honestly, when I think law of attraction, I think Conor McGregor, actually. Like, that guy is a manifestation goat. Like, he knew who he was going to be well before anyone knew. Like, everyone would doubt him, He knew in his mind well before, and he even says it, like, if you have the courage if you can see it in your mind, you have the courage to speak it, it will come true. Absolute goat in the manifestation realm. Let's see what else. Alex, this is the reason why I would never say to myself, I would be happy to lose money on this model. Yeah, that's a fine, that's an interesting fine line. I like to say that too. I think that the best way to say when you take a model, it's like, I've done all I can do if you truly believe in the setup. All your confirmations are hit, you enter, and whether it wins or loses, you're just so detached. I really like to think about it like, I don't know if you guys ever go to the casino, but even if you're just thinking about every model like this is a hand. And you see a model like this clean on NQ, you potentially have a 20. You potentially have a 20 in blackjack. It doesn't mean that the dealer is not going to pull a 21 and this is somehow going to lose. It doesn't mean that. No model is 100%. But when you take a model, it's then out of your hands. You just surrender the result. If all your confirmations are met and you take it and it loses, it is what it is. It is what it is. Again, easier said than done. Josh, where are you trading NQ and keeping it open more than intraday? Correct. I'm trading it on FTMO. That's what I'm doing. I know if you're trading on Apex or you're trading on Top Step or whatever, you would have to close this. I believe it did complete right at the end of the day. Pretty sure. Maybe. I think it completed right at the end of the day. But I'm trading it on FTMO. So that is why. I do like trading. I do like trading these on FTMO. The spread is the only thing that's a little bit different than the futures prop firms. But I currently just have, I have funding on FTMO, and I don't know why I wouldn't just use it to trade something like this. And it allows me to keep it open for a higher target as well, which is nice. But yeah, that's how I'm doing it. Brian Tracy. Okay, I'll look him up. I'm not currently familiar with him, but I'm always looking to up my my knowledge. I'll definitely check him out. But all right, guys, we've been going for an hour 30. Alex saying he has to go to sleep. That's perfect timing, brother. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being on this journey. We're absolutely on the come up, boys, and I love every one of you guys who tuned in. We'll kind of see where we can take this. Let me see if I missed any comments here. I trade futures on props, just sucks. You have to close intraday, much lower time frame, which was a big adjustment from trading crypto ranges, which are 1 day or more. Yeah, not all crypto ranges 1 day, but for sure, when you're trading futures props, it's just a different game. I am sure you know about ENA's range, but it looks like a very nice bottom right now. Brett and SEI look interesting to me on the bulls side. I'll definitely check those out. Maybe we'll finish with ENA. I haven't traded ENA in so long. I'm not familiar with any of these ranges, boys. I haven't been on the altcoin grind. I have not been on the altcoin grind. I used to be. Let's see what ENA's been doing. Nice little accumulation right here. Going to zoom out. ENA looks like decently crazy from a bottoming formation. Wow, ENA was super clean up here. I'm assuming this is when SUI had its range. Swept that liquidity, nice. Yeah, I didn't trade SUI. It was definitely a little bit interesting, just not a very inefficient range. ENA pretty clean. Pretty clean there by ENA. Let's see. From a bottoming perspective, for sure, you got a lot of exhaustion. I wouldn't be confident in saying we're going to put in a full reversal, something like that, especially in such a heavy downtrend right now. Like a lot of these altcoins, they're going to need, I feel like they're going to need they're going to need some time. They're going to need some time of sideways price action to really establish some bottoms. Looks to be rounding a little bit, but guys, I'm just not too intrigued with altcoins too much right now, especially lower volume like ENA. You're saying Brett. I got a crazy Brett story for you guys. It'll be for another time, but it's actually part of my origin story in crypto. Wow, Brett, pretty clean distribution right here. I definitely acknowledge that there's money to be made in altcoins. Just bear market right now, I'm kind of looking at the higher volume plays a lot more. But yeah, there's just not enough. There's just not enough for me here. Brett again. Is that even valid to pull it from there? You could argue that there's an accumulation. Oh no, you don't have to. Right here. Yeah, pretty clean by Brett for sure. Yeah, boys, I got a crazy Brett story from back in the day, back in the glorious bull run of 2024. It was kind of a flop though, that bull run a little bit, but all right, guys, I think it was a productive stream. We talked about a little bit of everything. It seemed like BCH is the gem from the stream. Shout out to who brought up BCH. Absolute GOAT. Let me see. Is there anything that I missed? Should be. I think we covered everything. But Thank you, man. To be honest, I see quite bullish charts. I'm a bit confused about being bearish. I don't really see even altcoins that are accumulating too much, friend. When you have Bitcoin in a model, it's just I do not enjoy trading altcoins that are not aligned with my Bitcoin bias. If Bitcoin was bullish here, sure. But how many times have you seen altcoins looking so good and Bitcoin just nukes and that whatever was going on there just failed spectacularly? It's happened to me quite a few times. Back when I was on the come up, studying TA and whatnot. But for me, when my bias for Bitcoin is set a certain way, I really do not enjoy trading altcoins outside of that bias. I know Lars is the same way. I know most are that way, but I've just learned my lesson way too many times trading counter context altcoins that I won't do it anymore. But all right, guys, this is our best plan. This is our best plan. This is why it's a bit confusing, quite new to trading, so I'm trusting the process. Yeah, brother, I wish you the best in the journey. I'm not going to say that it's going to be a straight shot. It'll be up and down, but one thing I will tell you, just never quit. Keep going at all times. No matter what happens, you just have to keep going. But yeah, I'm not bullish on altcoins, no matter what they look like, because of Bitcoin. Always using Bitcoin as a roadmap. That is the key. If you take anything from this stream, on the TA side, just take that. Create your bias for Bitcoin and then trade altcoins accordingly, because Bitcoin is the king. If Bitcoin wants to move somewhere, your altcoin, if Bitcoin wants to go down, your altcoin will get wrecked. It has no power on its own. It has no standing on its own to override Bitcoin. There's maybe the odd coin that does. Sometimes XRP will do something crazy, or honestly XMR. But yeah, just create your plan for Bitcoin and then trade your altcoins accordingly. So, all right, fellas, love you guys all for being here. I will try to do more streams as I keep growing. Someone did ask about Discord. Yeah, I do have a Discord. It's private right now, but it will be opening. It will be opening probably later this year. Members are getting finalized for Inner Circle and whatnot. But yo, DXR, thank you for being here, brother. You are a goat, bro, and I've been really liking your arc. Maybe I'll finish off with a little shout out for DXR. So DXR is a guy that I met in the TCT Discord. I saw a range on grass and it was absolutely so clean. And I just said on a back call, like, hey, if anyone sees a range like this, like, send it to me. DXR sent me like 9 ranges that were all like pretty clean on altcoins. And, we got to talking. It was at the very start of my nomading journey too. It's crazy to think back, but you've become a really good friend, brother. And really grateful to be trading with you every day. DXR, very, very advanced in the mind and spiritually as well. I'm learning a lot from you. And I still, we still need to get into the DAO book for sure. But yeah, I really like how you were saying, guys, sometimes when you get too focused on the charts, and I've dealt with burnout most recently a couple of weeks ago, and I was public about it. And DXR, he has a really good balance where he takes time off, and it's so important to reset your mind so that you're not putting in just like sloppy reps, just showing up because you have to. Like, it's very important to always be resetting, doing other things, getting out in nature, getting your mind right, and then you show up to the charts as the higher version of yourself. Staring at the charts all day will do nothing for you besides burn you out. There's a time and a place to put in the work, and yes, you have to put in the reps, but understand it's a process. And if you lose the balance, you will tip over and implode, as they say in Wolf of Wall Street. Implosions are ugly. But yeah, I've learned a lot from you, brother, and I love trading with you. You've hit some trades this week that I've loved. Your edge is more expanded than mine in hidden liquidity. But shout out to you, brother. But all right, boys, we will cap it there. Amazing stream. Be on the lookout for BCH. Be on the lookout for a picture perfect model into hidden liquidity on Bitcoin. I don't know if we'll get this, guys, right? But like if we do, we will be there. All right, guys. Hopefully, wishing everyone a good rest of their day, and I will see you guys again soon. Peace.